Yeah, so thank you everyone for joining. It's really nice to see almost all of you. I don't see everyone, but I see also all of you. So that's great. And so I will just share the agenda for today to begin with. So we have a little introduction. I don't know. I will not speak for 30 minutes. That's for sure. But we will have a small chat and what happened in the community during the past year, because the community has, as you may know, it's the first anniversary of the community. So this is the purpose of this event. And the idea is to celebrate the past year and to see what is coming in the next year. Then we had planned to have 2 sessions in parallel, but we don't know if it will depend mainly on the number of participants we will have during the session. We'll see later if there are more people connected. But if we are not so many connected, then we will do just one of the 2, which will be the collaborative drawing session. Then we have a small break after 15 minutes, I think it's 15 minutes. Then we'll have one of the member of the community that will share a personal story, reflection on a personal failure. Then we'll have what we originally thought was a panel discussion, but could be more an open type of open discussion with everyone on the today's trends, weak signals, and what we see could be the impacts of these trends and weak signals in the future. Then we'll have a break. Then we had planned also to have 2 sessions parallel. It will depend as well how many people will be connected at this point, but we will go for sure with the sense framing and system thinking session, and maybe depending on how many people are connected, with the collaborative writing, which is an alternate version of the collaborative drawing session. Then we'll have a break of 30 minutes this time, and then we go again with another personal story with another member of the community. Then we'll continue our discussion on trends and weak signals, and close up with the outcomes of our one of the 2 collaborative sessions, either the drawing or the writing. And we will all join a space which is called Kumo Space, where we usually host open and informal discussions we have in the community to close the event and have a little virtual drink with everyone, and so we can engage with whatever subject and thing we think might be interesting for everyone. So that's a bit the agenda. We expect people to join in for some specific session as well, so we'll see how it goes. So Diana and Krazi that are here will also facilitate some of the sessions. They will facilitate the collaborative drawing and sense framing sessions. And yeah, so happy to see one. Hi, Jonathan. So yeah, so what to say about the last year? I want to say first that this community and this project is something that was not planned and that has been never planned. It was a happy accident, in fact, emerging from one of my frustration last year during some events I went to during the summer, and I was not baffled but surprised by the fact that when we go to some specific type of discussions, we always see the same type of people. And when I say same type of people, not necessarily individuals, but the type of people that have the same backgrounds and talk with the same language and discuss about the same tools. And I was wondering what happens if we mixed people from different backgrounds and with different understanding of the subjects together and start to have an open discussion about whatever is design or innovation or product or sense making or whatever stuff that mattered to me at this point. And it was difficult to find different ideas or different thoughts outside of a specific type of discussion. So this is how it came to life. I shared a post on the social medias saying, hey, what do you think, guys, if we could have this kind of community? I don't remember. Someone said, hey, why not do it? And I did it. I just did it. And and now people that are here, you are part of this experiment that is the community. So I'm quite happy with how this experiment evolved over time. And I will stop to talk because I'm the less I'm the most biased guy to talk about the community, but maybe some of you can say what do you feel is the community, or what do you feel what was the year for you? What are the main elements that you find interesting or really science in the last year?
Maybe I can say a few words. To me, it was more than happy accident that I stumbled upon Kevin and his work, and I was really drawn with a lot of curiosity to what was happening. And I thought, how interesting that all of a sudden I can talk to people from different backgrounds and different experiences and share some of our more untraditional and experimental work. Because early in the year we were setting off on a journey, me and Diana, and we had some uncertainties in terms of what we were doing. So we were testing, but it wasn't enough, and we wanted to somehow reach out to the people that are the experts in the field to see what feedback we would get, and can we learn something from each other to push the ideas forward. And it did happen. It was quite rewarding, and as you say, happy accident, totally unexpected, but somehow we gravitated towards these discussions. And even though we have quite an open forum most of the time, nevertheless, the richness of ideas always surprises me because we don't come with preconceived notion of what needs to happen. And I personally feel that perhaps if we bring it back to the topic of the event, of what we wanted to reflect upon today was this notion of sensing the present. And for me personally, this community is kind of like a metaphor of what does it mean to sense the present? Because if you come with an open mind and really truly curious to explore different avenues before you settle on a certain direction, you need to be able to find equally minded people that are helpful, open, and also interested in taking your ideas to heart to make them better. And I think we have that in the community. So I'm very grateful that we joined, and I'm quite excited to see how the journey would evolve and what we can do together in the next year. So yeah, happy anniversary.
Yes, happy anniversary to everyone. I don't know if Diana, you want to share something, maybe?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I was thinking about a previous discussion on what is the specific of the community. And I think Enriquez at some point mentioned that the community has this warmth and kindness that you don't really find it around. And I think that was really nice. I think that resonated with me. It does give you this feeling that you are in a safe space where people are genuinely trying to communicate, and the quality of ideas that raises from this kind of interaction, I think it's really powerful. And that's probably why I stuck around. I don't really like chit chat, so, and I'm very quick to like tell everyone off or just run away from conversations. So I think this has been kind of the plus side, and I think I want to keep going with the community and see what more we can do, just like Krasi. And yeah, I see Vinish sent us a message.
Yes, maybe you want to join and then to tell us what you think, Vinish.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. It's good.
Yeah, thanks. So as I said, I have just joined this community a few weeks ago, and I am following many different types of product and design communities worldwide, whether in Slack groups or their conferences and the events in EU also, right? And so what I specifically find interesting about this community is that we are not really talking about our deliverables. We are not really talking about the interface that makes it a business success for the metrics, right? We are talking about some enablers. So some of the conversations that take us help us take a step back and think about how we think, how we process information, how we interpret so many variables around us, the entire journey from and to of the processability of information, and our understanding and awareness of what we are trying to do and why, and how we exist as a part of that system. So it is not only the measurable metrics or measurable KPIs or deliverables. We are talking about some intrinsic variables hidden in the layers of behavior, whether it's a human behavior or team psychology or the organization behavior. So there are lots of conversations that really make us think of our work a lot differently.
That's very well said. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, there are too many things that I ideally want to bookmark and come back to it later. Okay, but that doesn't really happen. We need to make sure that we filter the right references so that we can process what really makes more sense to us, and rather than keeping a huge pile of to-do lists and maybe in our pocket and bookmarks, and then we never come back to those, right? So that's a little bit of challenge, but I think that gradually becomes part of our habits.
Yeah.
Thanks team. Thanks Kevin.
Well, thank you for your feedback, and that's really nice to hear that, because it reminds me of a discussion I had with some people a year ago about meta design and this idea of thinking about what we do and how we do it. And I'm happy to hear that in a way we are fitting to this idea, which is really good, because it's hard to find this kind of place to have this space for, trying different things and thinking differently. So yeah, thank you very much.
And I also think the plan of the day of these few activities and presentations that we put together kind of reflects quite nicely to this point, the thinking differently and thinking with awareness about what matters and why does it matter. So we'll have a little bit of a mixture of different techniques that have helped us get quite deep into certain topics. Of course, we have a limited amount of time, so we had to pick those that are most impactful, but we just wanted to illustrate quite untraditional ways of how you can approach this subject and also take it and make it practical in your daily work. Because what we are sharing is not the rocket science, but these methods have proven to be useful, at least in our work, to really accelerate the trajectory to insights. Because sometimes it takes a long time before you can really connect different dots and establish new relationships and see things from a different angle. So one of our key objectives has always been, can we speed this process and can we make it more rewarding and less frustrating?
Jonathan, do you want to share something?
Yeah. So I'm also a recent addition to the community, so I've not been here very long. I think what I really appreciate, it's very difficult to find like-minded people, and I don't really mean like-minded in the sense of necessarily agreeing with everything and being totally in sync, but I mean people who value the same kinds of questions. And for me, I mean, I've been on a journey on this set of questions I think we're interested in for maybe now 6-7 years. And I found it very, very difficult to connect with people. I can meet up with my friends. I can, I see people and they ask me, oh, what are you doing? What are your readings that you're doing? Because I always say I'm doing my research, and I talk about this to people, and then I see that I can't communicate it, or there's no, people just don't feel it. They don't feel the same. They don't see the interest in these questions, and maybe it's just that I'm not able to express it correctly, or it's just that there's just a question of affinity with a certain type of question. And so I was very glad to find this community. Again, I just arrived. I came through Kevin, and we have met at various points in the past in different groups, which shows, again, I think we're probably interested in similar questions. And so I'm very grateful to also be here, to be able to expand my understanding. And as Vinesh said, I think this idea of taking a step back and also questioning my own beliefs and my own understanding, I'm always trying to do this. And that's why I think a group of people who are interested in the same questions but don't necessarily have the same views or opinions, I think that's a really, really powerful and an interesting place to be. So that's my feeling.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. Yeah, so the topic of today is sensing the present, and this is not something usually that we are doing in a mindful way. I would say that we all try to gather some inputs all the time, but I don't feel like we always take the time to just sit and try to see what type of signals and type of events we can capture in our day-to-day and see how it influences us, or what kind of questions or reflection we can have about it. And so this is one of the things that will be interesting today, that we will take this time all together to explore ideas and reflections about what we feel is the present. So yeah, I will share again because I don't know if you all see it well. No, wrong sharing. Sorry. Share again. Yeah, doesn't work. I struggle to share a presentation today. Is the day for that? Okay. Again, yeah, it is. So now we'll go to the collaborative drawing session. Before we go, we have a few minutes left. I don't know if any one of you want to share something about how do you try to make sense in general? What is your practice to do it? Do you have some ritual that you try to do it in, because at work it's really hard to do, because you always have a specific goal in mind. But I don't know if any of you have something like as simple as just, doing sports, because sometimes it's a good way to, fresh up your mind and rethink and reframe what happened during a day. I don't know if you feel like you have something that is akin to this.
I can't say I have a method, but what I can share is that most of the time I kind of feel confused, but there are glimpses of interesting, I don't know, coincidences that all of a sudden I see how pieces fit together and I begin to see an emerging picture. But this doesn't happen. What I'm trying to say is that this is not something that is all the time present. So most of the time, I guess I'm not very aware or consciously seeking to connect everything, because I struggle with that. So I let it be, and then I'm hoping that from time to time these light bulbs would kind of light in my brain, and I would be able to put things together. Especially when in the current work we are busy with new components and trying to do new things. My experience is that a lot of the work at the end of the day does resemble like a jigsaw. So we see these little pieces here and there, but the picture takes actually time to resurface, and you cannot very easily see immediately the relevance of different bits and pieces together. And if I take that into the context of what is going on and this whole experience with the pandemic, I think at the beginning it was really difficult to make sense of anything, at least to me personally, because it was so unstable and so volatile that I didn't even try. I just went ahead and stay in the wave, whatever the wave was, first, second, third. And I was hoping that at some point things would begin to make sense, but
yeah,
I don't expect that usually to happen at the beginning.
Yeah, I think there's a good question from Jonathan about that, about how we. Jonathan, do you want to speak to that? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, it works now, I think. Yeah. I mean, I just had a very silly question. What do we mean by making sense?
Yeah.
I'm quite curious. I mean, I guess it's not one of these questions that there's a definite answer, but it could be interesting just to start off a discussion that if everyone can give his idea of what he understands or she understands as making sense.
If I may, I can say it. To me, making sense is creating a useful abstraction of whatever we have in mind now, that we can play with, something that is easy to play with. But the way we can go to that is, there's there's a lot of different ways to reach this point of creating this useful abstraction.
Abstraction of what? Sorry, what an abstraction of what?
Of of the present. If we are thinking of a specific topic, we try to make sense by creating a visualization in our mind of what is the topic. For instance, if we take a specific subject, if we have a problem, for instance, an abstraction of the problem landscape is the way we reach this point of having this abstraction is, we can have many ways to do it, but for me, it is when we make sense of something, is that we can articulate the topic in a way that's, can tell a story, that can tell something that is useful to us, at least, and that we can share it, in a useful way, meaningful way. I don't know. I'm saying really high level, I know, but we have the opportunity to play with ways to do it right now. So I don't know if anyone wants to share something before we jump in the collaborative drawing session.
Well, I want to say something about this making sense. I think it's a process first and foremost. It's a process that unfolds, and I think it splits in two parts that necessarily overlap. But it's about making connections and growing connections. More like what Vinish said about these investments. Sometimes it might think that the steps you're taking logically might not lead to something like a conclusion or that makes sense. But you kind of have to invest in yourself. You have to have certain conversations to send you in that direction, even though it doesn't show a linear direction. No, and I think these abstractions are kind of our way to cope with the confusion, with our empirical confusion, and the more we try sometimes to make sense of things, actually the further away we can drift from what's actually going on. So I think that's a little danger to it, but it's necessary. It's necessary for critical thinkers and for designers to do the groundwork of making sense and breaking it apart and putting it back together until it does something. It has an impact, whether it helps people or it doesn't. But clarity is definitely a goal to sense making, to just get us closer to what we are trying to find out. Yeah.